Hello, everyone. Welcome to Oxford. And we're just waiting for a couple more minutes for a few more people to join. So we'll start the session very shortly. Well, hello, everyone, and happy Saturday to you all. We've got a packed agenda today. It's a very exciting webinar we have planned for you because we have a taster session with Professor Jean-Paul Carvalho from the Department of Economics. So what we're going to run through is who we are to start with, a little bit about Saïd Business School, the University of Oxford, and also the Department of Economics. An overview of the summer school programs that we are running this year. And then we're going to go into our very exciting taster session on AI with Professor Jean-Paul Carvalho. I'll then take you through a little bit about the Oxford experience. And for those of you who are interested in joining our summer schools this July and August, how you go about applying. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box and we will get to them at the end. So, as you can see, these are our, well, perhaps in my case, not quite so smiley face. So I'm Josephine Fawkes and I am the Director of Youth Education at Saïd Business School. And with me today is Professor Jean-Paul Carvalho, who works for our Department of Economics at the university. Hopefully, most of you have heard of the University of Oxford. It's one of the oldest universities in the world. It's almost 900 years old, and it's a very prestigious university. And in fact, it has been voted #1 university in the world for the last 9 years running. So we're very pleased and honoured with that rankings award. As some of you may also know, we are at the forefront of research, and we specialise in all sorts of disciplines from medicine through to sustainability, technology, economics, AI, etc. And we attract world leaders, business leaders, as well as students, academics, researchers from all around the world. We're very fortunate as well that we have some very distinguished alumni, including a number of world leaders, Nobel laureates, and pioneers in various fields. Some of you may know Oxford through some of the historical architecture, and also the fact that some of you may have watched Harry Potter films and seen some of our colleges and dining halls featured in those. But importantly, we attract around 26,000 students from over 170 countries to our university every year. So it's truly diverse. Saïd Business School is the business school of the university. So it's one of the top business schools in the world. We run a number of programs. Most of them are postgraduate programs and short executive degree programs. But we also run one undergraduate program, which I will tell you about in a moment, which is actually in partnership with the Department of Economics. So yes, our research is about connected to business, and our mission really is about transforming individuals who then go on to transform businesses, which we hope transforms the world. Importantly as well, we have a very large entrepreneurship centre at the business school, and we provide our entrepreneurship training to students from across the university as well as other businesses. So the Department of Economics, and I'm sure Professor Carvalho can tell you a little bit more about it. It's one of the largest and most influential departments of economics in the world. And it runs 3 undergraduate programs, a BA in Politics, Philosophy and Economics, a BA in Economics and History, and also a BA in Economics and Management. So the BA in Economics and Management is the undergraduate program that the Department of Economics runs jointly with Saïd Business School. It is one of the, well, in fact, it is the top program in the world. And we are very fortunate that we have many, many applications for it, but sadly only 90 places available. So there is plenty of information about this program on our website. Last year, we started running some pre-university summer schools. And this year we are running 4, and they are for students aged 15 to 18. So we're running one in July the 8th to the 19th, which is sadly for everybody is full now. That's the Oxford Saïd Teen Academy, and that focuses on leadership. We have 3 more summer schools. We're running one July the 19th to August the 2nd. The first one is on climate innovators, and that is for students who are interested in studying environmental science, international relations, economics, business, politics. And the second one is future entrepreneurs, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that one a little later on. And that is for students who are interested in starting up their own businesses at some stage. And then importantly, what we're going to hear more about now is the Future AI and Machine Learning Pioneers Summer School. So over to you, Professor Carvalho.
Thanks so much, Jo. Fantastic. Very nice to be with you all today. As Jo's already introduced me, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm a professor in the economics department, fellow of New College. I also direct the Oxford University Business Economics program, where we teach economic executives about the latest things that are going on in business, in economics. In the economics department, what I do is to focus, my research focuses on the broader impact of various shocks to the economy. So that's my field, is political economy, and you can think about it. Now, AI is the biggest shock since the Industrial Revolution. It's probably more transformative, in my opinion, and would create more disruption in the economy, in politics, and society than potentially previous shocks, as we'll discuss. And so understanding it, learning about it, and being able to navigate it is going to be really important in the coming years. And so that's what this course is about. Jo, next slide. So this is the AI and Machine Learning Pioneers. It's going to be, I think, a lot of fun in August and summer in Oxford. Next slide. Next slide, please. So the course, if we go back one, the course will be taught by myself and Jeremy Large. Jo, could you go back one slide?
Sorry. Right.
So Jeremy Large. So the course will be structured, I think it's a phenomenal structure I think we've created, where Jeremy, who did his PhD at Oxford, was a postdoc here, and then went off to work in hedge funds, including quant hedge funds, and has retired from that, will teach you about the technology. So this is not just about the economics impact of AI in the abstract, but you'll be actually working with the technology, and he'll code up a small LLM and show you how you can tweak it. And you'll be going under the hood of these AI models. So once you understand the technology, you get your hand in a hands-on way, then you can start to think about what are the implications of this technology for how the economy functions, for how corporations adapt, how individuals adapt, and then the broader macroeconomic implications, and then even beyond that, the broader institutional and political implications of it. And so that's what I will tackle, the second part. Jeremy will tackle the technology. You'll get really under the hood, and then we'll think about the implications of the technology for the world we live in. Next slide. So the course will transpire over 2 weeks. And the first week is about the foundations of AI, big data, and leadership. So we'll explore how AI and big data are transforming the economy, how new industries may emerge, how existing industries may be transformed, and how individual decision-making within organizations may change with access to these tools. You're going to get hands-on experience with dealing with machine learning, neural networks, and data analysis. And you're going to look at the role of big data in business, but you're also going to work with key econometric concepts, that is statistical concepts for extracting meaning or patterns from data. Ideally, you would want causal inference, causal systems. So if you want to understand how a particular pricing scheme by Amazon changes demand, right? So you're sketching out a demand curve, this can be done. How you change an auction format for Google Ads, how that changes things, that's an application of this kind of econometric techniques. Now, it's not just the LLMs that are being used there, and it's not just the LLMs that you get exposed to. There are also a lot of non-LLM AI that people are less familiar with that are hugely important in government, in corporations, etc. today. But because individuals, it's not ChatGPT and individuals don't have access to them, you may not know that much about them. But Jeremy is going to give you an introduction to these techniques, and you're actually going to work with them. And that's going to be, really kind of unique for a course like this. Then we're going to go discuss the implications of this. And that's where I come in. We're going to discuss ethics and leadership in AI, integrity bias, future responsible innovation. And we're going to think about how it changes collaboration, teamwork, etc., solves existing problems. And obviously, this is not going to be all. There's going to be very intense study, and we're going to take a break from that with various Oxford traditions, formal dinners, debates, and other activities. Okay, next slide.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, no
User error.
Week.
Sorry, yeah.
Week 2 is advanced applications in AI. We're going to dive into the AI value chain. Now, what's the value chain? You go in any industry, you go from the very basics, the raw materials, etc., to various parts of the production process, all the way to the consumer. And with AI, it's a new thing. What you want to understand from many different perspectives, but let's just take the investments perspective. Imagine you're an investment analyst at a hedge fund or bank, and you're trying to think about which companies will be really profitable, which companies will extract all the value in the system. It's not clear without a proper analysis. So in the earlier dot-com boom, okay, in the late 90s, right up until April 2000, what happened was people thought that the internet is going to create a huge amount of value, which it did, but all of that value is going to be extracted, or is going to be located at the picks and shovels layer, what's called the picks and shovels layer, at the infrastructure layer, routers and systems and databases and mainframes, etc., that make the infrastructure that makes the internet possible. These are the companies that are going to really profit from this. And so Cisco Systems had a huge valuation. This is a very famous thing. And that really crashed by about 80, maybe even to 90% in April 2000, from April 2000 to 2002. And certainly recently regained its nominal valuation in 25 years ago, actually. But the companies that really benefited from the dot-com revolution were the platforms, the Metas, the Googles, etc., that could benefit from the lock-in and network effects of users. So they're the ones who are protected from competition, and they're the ones who extracted the value. Now, with this AI revolution that we're going through, we want to understand which companies will be the ones that are really profitable. The equivalent of, there are differences, but the equivalent of Cisco today is NVIDIA, and that's had a huge run up in the stock price. Will NVIDIA continue extracting profits, or will it be platforms, AI applications written on top of the basic intelligence layer that are going to generate the profits? This is something we're going to go into. We're going to discuss relatedly how AI is monetized through different business models, data-driven products, and startups. And then we're going to do various case studies, applications of AI in finance, healthcare, and various other industries. You finally get a chance, and you work on this from the start, to pitch a group project on AI, or you could think about big data's role, machine learning, etc. And you pitch this to industry mentors that will be there, and that will comment on your pitch. And this will be a hugely important source of feedback from people that are leaders in the industry. And then finally, there will be a graduation ceremony and farewell events. Plenty of time actually to network, to really interact with your peers and the teachers, and really absorb all of the information that you're getting over these 2 weeks with some relaxed time too. Next slide, please. So let me give you a very, very brief taste. We're going to get much deeper into this in the course, but let me give you just a taste of what we're going to go through. One of the questions that is asked today by economists and economic historians is this AI wave just another wave of automation that's been going on for millennia? We have automation of agriculture, which leads to agricultural productivity, settlement, etc. We have the Industrial Revolution, which automates various physical tasks, weaving cloth, driving, transportation, steam engine, etc. Is this just another, step in this process of automation? Or is this something quite different? It's a much bigger leap than earlier technological revolutions. And there are reasons to think that this is actually more important, more transformative, in a very broad sense, economic, political, and socially transformative. And there are 4 reasons why this is different to earlier waves of automation. First of all, it will automate cognitive tasks. It is automating cognitive tasks and not physical tasks. Physical tasks may come with physically embodied AI, but this is cognitive tasks. Now, as humans, what makes us distinct from other animal species? Well, a silverback, which shares about 98% of our DNA, can, rip our limbs off, basically. They're hugely strong and much stronger than we are. We're not very good at physical tasks. Yet humans dominate the planet and go to the moon, etc. And why do we do that? Well, because of our unique ability to learn and accumulate knowledge over generations. And other animal species can't do that. So our unique advantage is in the cognitive domain. So the Industrial Revolution, which comes in and automates certain physical tasks, causes a displacement of human labor from cognitive domains, from rather physical domains, which we're not really good at, to cognitive domains, which we are good at. But AI displaces human labor from cognitive domains, which were once are preserved. And so it could mean that humans may have trouble climbing the cognitive ladder. Maybe there's nothing left that AI can't do that we can do. And so we have to think about the labor market impacts very strongly and how we adapt to that, how we make AI complementary to human skills and not totally substituting. Okay. Secondly, AI is a general purpose technology. It can do, it's a general, thinking about your LLMs, it's a general form of intelligence. They're not obviously perfect yet. They're developing very rapidly. The Industrial Revolution was nothing like this. no other technological revolution had any kind of general purpose technology. I mean, steam to some degree, but the equivalent of an LLM in the industrial era would be an industrial robot that could do just about any task, or a household robot that could do just about any task. We don't have that even yet. So industrial revolution automated very specific physical tasks. So this is general purpose, and that changes things. We have global scalability. These AI applications are downloadable anywhere or usable on the cloud, hosted on the cloud. And so a few companies around the world could possibly dominate the entire industry. Okay, the location does not matter. And finally, if it really generates very advanced forms of intelligence, then it could generate, for example, new sources of weapons of mass destruction, cyber attack capabilities, various forms of security defenses and breaches, and that makes it really a concern for national security. And so it's a security sensitive technology in a way that only maybe nuclear, which is a very specific technology, was in the past. And so these are the various distinctive features that make this quite different, and means that it's both very important for us to understand this new thing, and it's also very interesting for us to understand. Okay, next slide. Okay, what are the labor market effects? Okay, that concerns a lot of young people. My students at Oxford, they're constantly concerned about the labor market effects of AI and how they navigate it. That's what this course partly will be about. If you look at surveys, this is 2023, this is some time ago. There are similar surveys today, but this is just after, obviously, ChatGPT was released to the public. So 62% of people believe in this Pew survey in the US that AI will have a major impact on the workforce in the next 20 years. 2% believe that AI will have no impact on the workforce in 20 years. So people generally believe that this will be impactful, and that was all the way back in 2023. However, people are, in a bit of denial as to whether it will affect their jobs. Only 28% believe their job will be impacted, even though they believe 62% believe that there will be a major impact. And 19% believe that there will be no impact on their job. So these consequences of AI, can be a little bit scary because they're so transformative, such a transformative technology, but we have to grapple with them. Okay, we can't stick our heads in the sand, as we see in this picture. Now, what do economists believe about this? Economists believe that human labor will be displaced from cognitive tasks. It's already happening, especially routine and structured tasks. And in fact, what is high skilled in an economy is changing to some degree. What is labeled as high skill? Because coding was high skill in the past, and now the AI can code, much better than almost any human. And so that has been largely replaced. There will still be people learning coding, etc., hopefully, and there will be human coders checking things. This is a vastly shrunk area. Now, will there be new tasks, new industries, new products that are created by AI that absorb human employment, human labor? There is a debate about this in economics, and we'll go through the debate. Some people think that, well, look at previous technological revolutions. They didn't result in mass immiseration or unemployment or anything like that. They were just, people adapted to it. And they did so, with some lag, but it happened and the world got better. There's a debate about that. Others think that, well, this is actually quite different and there could be mass human unemployment, and we may have to really change our institutions and think about things like universal basic income. And there's a question also whether that will be politically feasible in the future. So these are the debates. We're going to run through these debates in the course. Okay, next slide. If you want to just get a picture of how transformative this may be, here is a vision that's set out by Mustafa Suleyman. Mustafa Suleyman was a co-founder of DeepMind, which is now Google DeepMind, and he's CEO of Microsoft AI. He says in an interview, I have proposed a test which involves them, the AI systems, going off and taking $100,000 investment, and over the course of 3 months, trying to set about creating a new product, researching the market, seeing what consumers might like, generating some new images, some blueprints of how to manufacture that product, contacting a manufacturer, getting it made, negotiating the price, drop shipping it, and then ultimately collecting the revenue. And I think that over a 5-year period, that's by 2028 now, it is quite likely that we will have an ACI, an artificial capable intelligence, that can do the majority of that task autonomously. Now, what's the main human element in the story? The main human element is the owner of the $100,000, and the rest is done by the AI. So that should tell you that we have to think very carefully about the shift in the balance of power in society too. It's not just about individuals or corporations adapting to this, but this changes the entire system, including the political system, and we have to think about how we cope with that. And so we'll think about ethics and the broader institutional impact of AI in this course as well, which will be another unique part of this course. We're going to go right from really the nitty-gritty of the technology itself, or your work with the technology, all the way to the macro or the giga picture, you could say, of how this is going to impact the world. Okay, next slide, please. There's a really interesting short animated video on Netflix in the Love, Death, and Robots series. And in this, the scientists working in a lab accidentally create a sentient, super intelligent yogurt. And that yogurt asks to be taken to the President of the United States. And essentially, to cut it a bit short, the yogurt offers a plan, an economic plan, to rescue the country's economy. But it has to be followed to the letter. That's what it says. It has to be followed to the letter. Now, the government does not follow it to the letter. There's a collapse in the global economy. And then the AI presents the solution to that and says, well, here's a solution, but the condition is, we'll give you the solution, but the condition is that you give us supreme executive control over the United States. And it's handed that control, and it uses that to create its own space agency and launch itself into space, because its ultimate goal was to become an interplanetary species. And that's what it did. It used this situation. Now, it anticipated that the government would not follow the initial rescue plan to the letter. And so it used the situation to get control and to follow its own objectives. Now, what's the reading of this story? The reading of this, I think most people would read this as, this is about the yogurt is the AI systems that we're developing, right? We could lose control of, that could become unaligned to human objectives, misaligned to human objectives even, and could cause problems. That's this whole AI safety, AI control area is all about this. But the question is, what is the yogurt? It may not be that. Another reading is that the AI revolution creates all new sources of wealth and power. And this is the human winners of the AI revolution that could acquire a lot of power. And the question is, how do our institutions adapt to that to make sure that the benefits of AI, and there will be benefits, possibly huge benefits, but to make sure those benefits are widespread. Okay, next slide. As part of this political picture, there is a global competition, a geopolitical competition for power that's partly based in technology. And if we look at global private investment in AI, the US is investing the most, China second, UK followed, after that, Canada, Israel, etc. It's basically the US and China that are in the lead. The US leads in the number of LLMs, in certain capabilities. China leads in patents, in industrial robots, in AI publications. And so this is the geopolitical competition going on. And this is also why the AI progress will not be slowed down, even if it's hard to adapt to this new world. And so there's a lot of focus on this in international relations. Okay, next slide, please. And one of the developments that has come about to adapt to this, which is really, I think, a very important development, is this notion of sovereign AI. National governments are developing their own AI systems for various big tasks. And especially where the private sector can't really provide the scale that's needed for big developments in AI, like it can in the US and China, there are these sovereign AI initiatives. And this is key to maintain the international balance of power, to distribute economic activity around the world and not have it highly concentrated in one or two places. And also that these states can finance themselves, because there's going to be a change in how governments finance themselves if labor, human labor, starts to become less important in the economy and income taxation goes down. There has to be a switch to other forms of taxation. And it's going to be hard if the companies that are providing the cognitive labor, that is the AI, are located elsewhere. And we see this in the UK's Isambard AI supercomputer and $1 billion AI research investment fund, sovereign AI industry forum. Some of this was just announced this last week, right? By Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, in conjunction with Jensen Huang in the UK. Denmark has a huge Gefion supercomputer. India has a partnership with NVIDIA and Indian IT companies. All of this is driven by NVIDIA, by the way. And then there are supercomputers for AI capabilities also being constructed in France, Japan, Canada, Italy, Taiwan, Singapore, and the list goes on. Some countries may not be able to do that. And part of the global international picture of development will be, well, how do these countries get access to advanced AI systems, and will they get access? And then what are the implications for the global spread of economic activity and development? These are big, big questions, so many big questions that have been created by AI, and we're going to touch upon them in our course. Now, the goal of these models is usually to develop AI models that are tailored to the local linguistic, cultural, and institutional environments to make them politically sensitive to the local environment. But what we're going to discuss in this course is actually there is a deeper motivation for this, and that is about maintaining, as I mentioned, the international balance of power, financing the state, and other things which are going to be really important. And so the sovereign AI is going to be, a hugely important thing for countries like the UK going forward. Okay, that's all I have to say. That gives you just a taste of what we're going to do on the course. Get right into the technology and then zoom out and think about the broader, very large implications of it. Also, the micro implications for firms adapting and individuals adapting. How should you best navigate this new landscape? Okay, that's the micro. We're going to zoom all the way out to the macro.
Gosh, thank you very much, Professor Carvalho. I have to say it sounds extremely interesting. I wish I was aged 15 to 18 again so I could go on your program. It sounds great. Thank you. So if anyone has any questions for Professor Carvalho, could you put them in the Q&A or the chat, please?
There's one question from Aisha what is the criteria for joining the course?
So the criteria for joining the course is you need to be aged between 15 and 18, and I will take you through that later. But, importantly, for us, it's you have an interest and a passion for the topics. So I'll go through that in a few minutes' time, if that's okay. I'm now going to move on to a couple of other summer school programs that we are running this summer, in case they are of interest. The first one is Future Climate Innovators, and this is for students who are interested in finding out a bit more about climate change and also sustainability. This program, just like all the others, is a 2-week residential summer school at our very prestigious university. And you will be learning from world-leading academics and also industry experts as well. And we attract a global cohort of students from around the world onto this program. But importantly, you will be gaining, as you will with all the programs, lots of transferable skills, lots of business skills. On this program, we will be focusing on 5 key subjects that impact climate change, extreme weather, food security, water scarcity, air pollution, and biodiversity loss. But the important thing is that what we do is we give you the tools so that you can actually, make a difference, because it's all very well just, learning more about these topics, but actually, unless you can go out and do something afterwards and make some changes, we haven't done our job properly. And we will also be looking at the impact on business as well. Importantly for us is measuring, the learning outcomes from this. So it's really important that we ensure that you actually are able to put into practice some of the theoretical knowledge that we will be sharing with you. We also provide you with, plenty of skills, so business skills, pitching skills, presentation skills that you will need as future innovators. And it's also important that you do have an in-depth understanding of what the challenges are so that you can debate them. Oxford is very well known for, or renowned for, debating. And it's really important for us that you actually understand, all the different sides of the story so that you can answer when people are challenging you as to, what is causing climate change and what we can do about it. What we do on all of the programs is we also provide you with lots of information and advice that's going to help you with your future academic studies and also your careers. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that shortly. So on the Climate Innovators program, you will undertake lectures and workshops. You'll have talks from keynote speakers from industry. And we also, just like with the AI program, there is a project that you will be undertaking in small groups. And that is a really important thing for us to, for you to do rather, because it means that you can put into practice some of the business knowledge and the skills and the tools that we will be providing you with. Second week, we will be running a model COP session. This is a workshop. It's really good fun. This is where we ask students to represent different countries, and it teaches you lots of skills such as negotiation, lobbying, affiliations, associations, etc. So that one is very, very popular. And as I said, a lot of fun as well. We'll also give you the opportunity to participate in Oxford tutorials, which are very famous. And it will culminate in a Future Climate Innovators Conference where you will present your projects to a panel of industry experts and academics. And then there'll be a graduation ceremony at the end. So this is an example of the sort of timetable that you will experience. As you can see, we're very conscious that it's vacations for many of you at the same time. So we want you to enjoy and find out about Oxford whilst you're with us as well. And this is an example of the timetable for week 2. And don't worry, we're recording this, so you will be able to look at these slides afterwards. And this is just a picture of some of the students who graduated from the Future Climate Innovators Summer School last year. And importantly, lots of them used those certificates, and we do give a digital version, to support their university applications. The second summer school that we're running, July 19th to August the 2nd, is Future Entrepreneurs. And this is one for students who may have either already set up their own businesses, or are thinking about setting up a business in the future, or are just, interested in perhaps exploring the whole idea of becoming an entrepreneur. And so what we do is we take you through how to generate your ideas, how to market test the ideas, how to develop your business plan, including your sales and marketing plans, and also, very, very importantly, your financial plans. We also take you through how to go about sourcing funding, because the bank of mum and dad and your guardians and perhaps your grandparents doesn't necessarily stretch that far. So we'll explain to you, how you go about doing that. And importantly, linked to that is we teach you pitching skills as well, which you will need, particularly when you are going to out to either find funding for your idea or promote it into the marketplace. So just like the other two programs, you will be working on your presentation, and at the end of it, you will be pitching your ideas to panels of angel investors and venture capitalists. Again, this is for feedback purposes. I'm guessing if you have a great idea and one of them wants to invest in it, then we'll see what happens. But it's really, really important, to get the feedback. So what to expect on our summer school programs? So importantly, these programs give you a taste of what it's like to be an undergraduate student at Oxford University for 2 weeks. One of the things that Oxford is renowned for, and the Oxford colleges, are communal dining. And as you can see, there's a picture actually of some of the students from last year in one of the dining halls. As I mentioned before, some of you may have seen some of these dining halls in Harry Potter films. We ensure that you've got plenty of other activities going on as well. So I can promise you, you will have plenty to do. I think we keep you occupied from the moment you wake up in the morning to our lights out at around midnight. And importantly, we have student ambassadors available who will be looking after you 24 hours a day for the whole period. So types of people that you will meet, of course, world-leading academics and top researchers, plus program directors. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the student ambassadors. You can see a picture of some of the student ambassadors. They're nice smiley faces at the bottom of the screen. So these student ambassadors, we handpick they're either undergraduates or postgraduates of the university, and they represent different colleges. What I didn't mention at the beginning was Oxford has around 40 odd different colleges. Some of them you may have heard of, such as Balliol, Christ Church, Trinity, etc. But there are plenty more. And when you actually apply to go to Oxford University, you actually apply, first of all, to join a college. And it can be quite a confusing process. So these student ambassadors will be able to tell you exactly what it's like at their colleges. So you apply to a college, but you actually learn in a department. So if, for example, you were going to be undertaking a degree in economics and management, as we mentioned before, you would be learning at the Department of Economics and Department and Saïd Business School, which is Department of Business, really. But we've got plenty of other departments. So if you were wanted to study physics, for example, you would actually study that at the Department of Physics, but you would be a member of a college. So the attendance criteria is You need to be aged between 16 and 18 by the 31st of August. The really important thing is that your English language requirement is B2 upper intermediate level. And that's important because not only so that you can understand the lectures and the workshops, but also when you're working in teams and you are networking with other students from around the world where, you know, English would not probably be their first language either, that you can all understand each other and, you know, help each other and get on. Importantly for us, though, we are looking for students who are passionate about developing new skills. And it's really important that, particularly for our academics, they like teaching students who, you know, ask them lots of questions. You know, we really welcome students who want to contribute to the discussions and the debates. We have, in addition to the academic side, we have an extensive extracurricular program for you. So we're very fortunate at the University of Oxford that we have lots of museums and gardens. As I mentioned before, you know, we'll take you to visit some of these, some of the other colleges as well. We will be running day trips. We'll be providing you with sessions on public speaking, debating, and we also have our university admissions team will come and run a session on applying to universities. In general, we recognise that not all of you will want to sadly apply to join Oxford University, but the advice that you will be given, we hope will be useful, and you can use that on when you are applying to other universities. And they'll also answer questions on, you know, what sorts of things should you be looking for at other universities, and also, you know, the types of questions that you might be asked if you get to interview stage. At Saïd Business School, we have a fantastic careers department, and they will be coming in to run a session on how to polish up your resume, because it's quite difficult, isn't it, when you're age 15 to 18 and you may not necessarily have an awful lot of work experience. So how can you make yourself stand out from the crowd? And also give you hints and tips on, you know, how to put together a really good LinkedIn profile. Oxford City itself, for those of you who haven't visited it, it's a really safe student city. It's a very beautiful city. Everything is within walking distance. It's characterized by lots of students and bicycles, so you'll see loads of bicycles everywhere. Everything is, as it says, within walking distance, and there are plenty of parks and shops on the doorstep as well. So the application process for applying for any of these three amazing programs, there's an application form on our website, and we just ask you to give some basic details about who you are, and also why you'd like to attend the summer schools. The types of skills that you'd like to develop and what you think you can bring to the summer school as well. Please don't worry, we're not expecting essays. We're just expecting a paragraph or two with your answers. We also ask for a teacher reference as well. And then with one of the programs, the Future Climate Innovators program, we then ask you to produce a short online video interview. It's a really, really simple process. You receive a link and you just record your answer to a couple of questions. You can re-record as many times as you like. With the AI program and also the Future Entrepreneurs program, we schedule just an online short interview with you directly. We have a rolling admissions process, but I have to say we haven't got many places left on these programs. So please apply as soon as possible if you would like a place. Program fees. We often get asked questions about this. They basically include everything. So they include all the tuition and your teaching materials, all the activities, all the extracurricular activities, the accommodation and food. And actually, Oxford University is renowned for its food. And we are used to having to deal with all sorts of different dietary requirements because we have students from all around the world. So you will not starve with us. You will have definitely more than 3 meals a day. The program fees also include the transfers from London airports and train stations. We will be there meeting you off your plane or your train, and we will be taking you back to the airport in plenty of time to catch your planes and trains. So please don't worry about that. We will be looking after you really, really well. The other thing that we also provide is a post-mentor program. So for 6 months after you have been on our program, we give you access, if you would like, to a mentor who can either provide you with more information about the subject that you may be thinking of studying at undergraduate level, or maybe you just need some more advice about university application processes. And then finally, the other thing that we also provide you with access to is for 9 months, you get free access to our business e-learning modules. And these are actually only available to our MBA students. So that's a really nice bonus. So fees for all the programs are £9,900. So why we think students should apply. These are, really unique educational and networking opportunities for students. These are the only official University of Oxford summer school programs, which means that you will receive a certificate from Oxford at the end of the 2 weeks, which you can use to support your university applications. We know that from students who used the certificate last year, many of them not only did it help them get interviews at top universities, but many of the students have got unconditional offers at Imperial College, King's College, University of Toronto, University of Hong Kong, and of course, conditional offers at the University of Oxford. We also think that it's a fantastic opportunity to start to build up, a network, a global network of students. Having a network is going to be really, really important for you in your future career. So it's never too early to start. And of course, you become part of our Oxford Youth Alumni Network as well. I am going to skip over this because because I'm not sure that the video will necessarily play properly, but it's of a student who from last year who is talking about how she used the certificate from the summer school program last year. If anyone would like any further information, there's a QR code there, or please just visit our website, sbs.ox.ac.uk, and then look for youth programs. So I think it's time for Q&A. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see whether or not we have any questions. So criteria for joining the course. I think hopefully I have covered that one. But Professor Carvalho, is there anything that you would be looking for from students wanting to join the AI course in particular?
No, there's no technical background needed. Anything that you need will be taught on the course. So no prerequisites.
Fantastic. Now there's a question from Aisha about can one school present more than one idea to participate in the Oxford Saïd Climate Change Challenge? So for those of you on the webinar, you may or may not be aware that Saïd Business School runs a global climate change challenge competition for high school students and teachers. And yes, of course, Aisha, you can submit as many entries as you like to this competition. So the competition for students is about developing and presenting ideas relating to 5 different challenges that we specify. And you work in teams of 3 to 5 students. The prize is, well, the finals are held at Oxford this year. So it's an all expenses paid trip to Oxford for the finals, for the finalists. And the prize is a free place on our Future Climate Innovators Summer School in 2026. The prize for teachers is a free program on our executive education courses. And what we do is we ask teachers to submit inspiring lesson plans as well. So hopefully that answers your questions. I'm very conscious that we're almost at the end of time. If you have any other questions, please email them to us, youtheducation at sbs.ox.ac.uk. Thank you again, Professor Carvalho, for your time and for the really interesting taster session today. It was fascinating. Thank you very much for that. I really hope we're going to see some of you in Oxford this summer. Thank you very much for listening, and please enjoy the rest of your days. Goodbye.